All right, welcome back to the 70 episode series of Women in the Bible, where we come here, we sit down, and we talk about the girls that we know from the Bible. We learn from them and we talk about them. I think there's nothing better than sitting around as women and talking about the women in the Bible all and learning. So who's lady number 6? Drum roll for her. She was a queen. Esther. Esther, absolutely amazing girl. Let's talk about who was she. She was an orphan who was staying with her uncle. She was a Jew, and she was chosen to be wife and queen to a Persian king, Ahasuerus. This girl, like, let's talk about favor. You are like getting married, not just getting married, but you're getting married to become a queen, and to a man who at the time, did you know that this guy was actually like had influence throughout many provinces in around the world, like many regions around the world. So he was sort of like a superpower. Like, I always think of leaders of kingdoms that rule the world and influence the world as like kings of the world. So she was like the queen of a man who ruled the world. This was just like so fancy. This was Esther, and she was an orphan. I think humble beginnings, and she had lost her parents. She was being raised by an uncle, but God favored her enough to have her become the queen of a man who was like king of the world. I like that. And so what do we learn from the life of Esther? Esther, first of all, she used her influence to save her people. Though she kind of forgot and had to have her uncle send word for her that, look, think of not thyself that you shall escape, like what not. Like, she had to remember who she was. But using your influence to save other people, like, we know of people that the moment they get saved from a destiny of the people that are in their villages or in their community, they sort of forget. Like, they go in and they forget. But she remembered who she was. She remembered she had people that she represented, that she had to use her favor, her influence with the king to save. So I think that's really awesome. And then also social intelligence. I believe that all of us as women, we need to develop our social intelligence nerve. Can I call it that? Yeah, social intelligence. Your ability to read like a social environment, like, what time is it? Who am I with? Is it the right time for me to ask for something? Should I wait for later? Should I maybe do 1 or 2 or 3 things before I ask for what I want to ask for? Like, she had awesome social intelligence, and that's one thing that I learned from her, that ability to read the room. That she didn't ask the king the first time she went to meet the king like about this. She prepared a feast and made sure that the king was happy first before she showed up. Like, she didn't just went in and asked for whatever she was asking for. She had to prepare the social environment and read the room, and when the time was right, she knew she could step in and spend that favor to get what she wanted, or to get what her community needed out of her. I think that's awesome. And then also is that ability to build rapport with the king. Building rapport, I think it goes on with understanding who am I talking to, what works with them, and also being able to allow time to pass. I think sometimes we mess up certain opportunities or things that God has planned for us in our destinies because we don't know how to wait for the right time or to prepare while the time is at hand. And then the other thing about Esther is that you'd remember when Esther was preparing to be queen before she was married to the king, that Esther had to listen to one of the eunuchs, like how she was supposed to prepare herself, how she's supposed to adorn herself, what she's supposed to dress to please the king. I believe that all of us, we come from different communities, and as God continues to raise us, we get into places that we are not like born into, and it's very important for us to take a step back and find that coach, find that mentor who can help you and help you prepare yourself to really operate and work in that type of environment. So I think that is the upside of her. She's extremely teachable, coachable. She's able to listen and know what to do. That's just absolutely amazing. What about the downside of Esther? One thing that I didn't like this, but I think for a moment, though it could have been a split second, she forgot that there were people that depended on her, because she needed to get a word to be told, look, don't think you'll escape. Don't think, because you're in the king's palace, when things go down, like the ex or whatever that was killing people at the time, it will escape. Like, she had to be reminded that. So I think for a moment there, she could have just thought that she was safe, and I think all of us should not assume that, oh, the fact that you have survived from something, it means that you shouldn't come and save other people with your testimony, with your words, because you never know, you might go back there, you might find yourself back in that circumstance, and if you had maybe created a community or a support structure around you, you might survive. So what are the reflection questions that you need to think about is, at this present moment, can you think about 1, 2, or 3 people that really need your help? Okay? Sometimes when we think about people that need our help, sometimes we go to financial help. But let's just put aside financial help to the side. Who needs your help at this present moment? Like, can you think of who needs your help? And are you going to help them? That's a big question, And also, another reflection question is that, where would you rate your social skills? Are you able to read the room? Every time you find yourself around people, do you usually know when it's the right time to say something, not to say something, to do something or not to do something? Like, do you really know what to do when you're in a social situation, when you're around people that are high in power, when you're around people that are serving you, people that you're serving, when you are in a high profile environment, when you're around leaders in the community, when you are in such, do you know how to read the room? Do you know what to say, when to say it? And do you know what to do to get ready? That's a really, really good question. And then the current place of influence that we have. It might be as a parent, it might be as a big sister, it might be where you work, in a place of leadership, the influence that you currently have. How are you using it? Who are you helping with the influence that you have? Who are you helping with the influence that you currently have? Right? Please do answer the questions in the comment box. Don't forget, again, if you have any questions that you would have loved to ask Esther, if she was here and now sitting on the chair that I'm sitting on, what question would you ask her? The question that I would want to ask her is, was she scared? Because at the time, remember back in the days, for her to go to the king without the king inviting her, she could have died. And I would want to know from her, like, do you brave it out? Or did you go in like expecting anything to happen? Like, was it like this was a brave move from your end? Or you were sure that the previous work that you had done, socially intelligent, like got you to that place where you could come to the king and be safe? Like, I want to know, like what was the circumstance when you were going there? Were you scared, like so scared? Or was it like, no, I know I did my stuff. I know I prepared myself and I prepared the king emotionally to welcome me publicly and for me to ask for something like this. Like, I would want to know from Lady Esther. So until the next lady, as we continue in the series, see you next time.